Achoo!
Bless you. Look, you can actually see my
I know. This is so fun.
Hey y'all.
Hey, what's
welcome
up?
back.
Before the video gets started, today's video is sponsored by Regions Bank, member FDIC.
We have had a lot of questions and been waiting a while to do this video on how our budget and like our bills and all of that have changed. We've given y'all an update on how much we've paid off on the debt journey over the past year. Also, what was our other budget video that we did?
Oh gosh, I don't even know.
How much we spent on moving. I think we talked about some more budget stuff in our Q&A. But we were gonna talk about how our bills changed, because we knew obviously our housing cost was gonna go down. That was one of the main reasons that we wanted to sell our house. But we were also interested to see just like, I guess, cost of living in the new area, but we knew it would be fairly similar, but in a much smaller house, how the difference in the bills would be. So,
yes, and if you're new here watching for the first time, my name is Cullen, and this is Katie. Hi. And that's our dog back there scratching the door every time we start to film.
Every time. But we're on a journey to paying off $100,000 worth of debt. That started in January of 2020. We were also in the middle of the process of trying to sell our house during that and have finally successfully done that. We are renting a house for a year. We moved 4 hours away from our hometown, closer to the coast of Alabama. We downsized from 5,200 square feet to 1,800 square feet.
Oh gosh, every time I hear you say like we're paying off $100,000 in debt, I'm just like, I get that weird feeling because we are in the public eye. Watermelon sugar eye.
Sour kids sing that song.
Catches me off guard because I'm like, we're not supposed to be talking about this. Just kind of like therapy or something, or marriage counseling and stuff. It's just those things in the public eye or YouTube world or in general that you don't talk about.
We have paid off over half of our debt, so that's exciting. Go watch our last video on how we paid off $55,000 in the past year.
So with the smaller house, we don't have as much of a power bill, right?
Yeah, well, I was a little bit surprised because it was a little bit higher than I thought it should be, or than I was expecting it to be. However, we're big light keeper owners. We work from home and like, I don't know, I just don't like to sit around in a dark house. We also keep our house really cold.
Yeah, I like it, a little chilly.
So there's that. So let's just start with obviously the mortgage versus the rent. And I don't know if we even told what our rent is or like discussed that or how we chose the amount and all of that of what we were gonna pay for it. Have we even shared that with everybody?
Think so.
We talked about before our previous mortgage payment was around $3,400. When we moved, we kind of calculated what we needed our mortgage or like our rent to be. We knew we were gonna be paying more to rent this size house than we would if we just bought this size house. But we weren't comfortable with buying with all the added, that's a whole different story. In our area, in order to get our kids in the best of the schools we wanted to, be in a good neighborhood, we were looking at paying rent in the range of like $2,000, give or take $200 here or there, which to some people might still sound like a lot to rent, to some people might sound like a really low amount to rent in a brand new house, 4 bedrooms, 1,800 square feet, fabulous family-friendly neighborhood, all the things. So we were able to find a home to rent for $2,000 plus $100 for pets each month.
For 4 pets, just $100 extra. Usually it's like $100 per pet.
Some places I guess don't charge pet rent, but you pay an upfront deposit and all that. So right now our difference in our mortgage versus rent payment from $3,400 to $2,100, $1,300. So we're paying $1,300 less in just like upfront rent, but we are paying, we've mentioned this, for a storage unit because we did downsize a freaking crap ton and got rid of so many things. But there is some larger furniture that doesn't fit in this house that we know we don't want to get a huge house again, but we want to get a little bit bigger. And so we're kind of, there's some things we're like, I mean, I don't want to get rid of this bed because if we are in a bigger place, the kids are gonna want to use their other beds. But so we're paying, it's a fairly like reasonable sized storage unit, and we're paying $70 a month for that. So I kind of consider adding that on top of the housing cost because technically we are storing stuff in our old house. Our renter's insurance that we're paying, previously our homeowners went into our mortgage payment, so I would calculate that within there. It's $90 a month, which I don't know, that may sound like a lot to other people because I think when I was emailing the lady about it, I was like, when I was looking up, you know, how much is renter's insurance? It was like $15 to $20 a month, and I was like, 90, that seems like a lot. But she said the averages you're looking at online is for like your average single person or couple that's living in an apartment, doesn't have 5,200 square foot worth of stuff that they're bringing in. We've got 2 kids. You calculate in everything if you like a total loss, basically.
And we're in like hurricane lane.
Right, and so that does make the cost higher. Plus it being a home versus an apartment. It is what it is. That was the rate that we got.
Sounds like we're getting close to $3,400 a month. Back to where we started.
it's really not. So if you calculate in this storage unit and then the renter's insurance, $2,260 a month. So I mean, you're basically looking at $1,140 less that we're paying per month to live here than we were at our old house, including storage unit and renter's insurance.
That's good.
So that's good. I was really interested to see like the utility differences. So we had to wait a minute to like get everything to come in. January is not really a great month to do this comparison. In Alabama, you don't really run the heat or the air a whole lot. The temperature is kind of like neutral, I guess.
You wear a sweatshirt or you open up the window.
This will be really interesting to look at in the summer.
Ooh.
When the air conditioning ran so much in our old house. So our power bill here, take in mind we have electric heat too. So previously our power bill and our heat bill were separate. Okay, our power bill here for the month of, basically this month of December that'll be paid in January, was $210, which seemed like, it really surprised me. I was like, holy crap, that's way more than I thought it would be for an 1,800 square foot house.
I'm like, is it the fish tank constantly running, or is it just the lights constantly
I mean, we have a lot of lights on. This house is super well insulated, so it's not like we were running the air in December because it was warm some days. I think the combination of having the lights on, plus we had the Christmas tree on basically every day, all day. So I don't know, I'll be interested to see what it's like in February. But if you compare that to our old house, in the same month, our power bill, this doesn't even count the gas bill, when you're running gas heat in the winter, $242. And then the gas bill was $219. So that was a total for electricity and gas, a total of $461.
So we've cut that in half, essentially.
Our gas bill here for that month was $10.
Oh, okay.
And it was $219 at the old house. So that's a difference of $240 more we're paying in electricity and gas.
So add that to the total there.
There is a charge for trash pickup, garbage pickup here. So that's an extra $15.40 a month. We're still looking at $1,365 that we're paying less here. The water and sewer bill, I'm not sure it's gonna be a huge difference. Our water bill at our old house was weird. The Birmingham Waterworks company, I don't know, the bill would be like the same exact amount for 3 months and then we get a refund. So I don't really know. I just know in January of 2020, our water bill was $105 at the old house, and that include water and sewer in one bill, so I don't know how much each one was. Here, the sewer bill is always $54.50. And then our water bill was $27. So for a total combined of $81. So that was $25 less here than it was at the old house. Just looking at utilities and housing. So rent, electricity, gas, water and sewer, and trash. We are saving $1,390 living here versus our old house. When you take into consideration extras, internet, and cable, $121 here we pay for cable and internet, and $189 that we paid at the old house for cable and internet, for a difference of $68. So we're paying $68 less here. And I know some people say like you don't have to have cable, and we don't actually have cable through the provider, but we really do enjoy YouTube TV. We've talked about this before. It's something that we decided for us we want to have. We do have Netflix, but that's different than being able to watch like all your sports and your news and the kids' TV shows. Basically, HGTV is really the main reason.
So technically, we're saving just on those stats almost $1,500 a month. But that also doesn't include like should something break down at the house, like at the old house, if something broke down or like we had to get more pine straw for the front yard. Or
that's something too that I didn't calculate.
Random things that you don't realize completely add up over time. We just pick up the phone and let the landlord know. And
you will have to do maintenance for the yard, like that's just part of the rental agreement here. Yeah, but the yard is like this big compared to this big.
We can get somebody come in tomorrow to fix a ceiling fan that's off center in Brooks's room. We'd have to pay that.
Yeah,
we got a fence put up. we didn't have to pay for that. So there's no real way to actually tell like, the full amount, I guess.
Right, because I mean, I guess I didn't even think of that when you're saying, because in our budget previously, like every month, depending on whether it's winter, summer, fall, whatever, I'd put an extra $50 to $75 in there for yard maintenance. Previously, it was $75 every 2 weeks to pay the yard guy, or 70 or whatever, so $140 a month. We obviously hadn't been doing that while we were doing the debt payoff journey, but still we were paying at least $50 a month just for our own maintenance of the yard.
Those envelopes were adding up. Speaking of envelopes, that kind of gets us into the personal spending, I guess, as far as everything goes.
Yes, that was our monthly bills, the things that we have to pay to companies. We've talked about before how we leave that money in our checking account because most of it's like auto drafted or whatever. We've gone back and forth on cash versus debit card and apps and like gas cards, getting a gas card to a certain gas station and all of that stuff. But we found a really great solution. I think we may have even mentioned this in a video before that we were considering it, but we just recently made the switch. You'll know we love Regions Bank. Like we said, this video is sponsored by Regions Bank, and we're super thankful for them being a sponsor for several of our videos lately because they've been our bank since I was 15. And then when we got married, Cullen joined onto my account. I've had my checking account. I'm 37, and that's 22 years. We got these Regions Now cards. But it's literally just like a debit card. You can see at the bottom it says Visa Debit, and it is just a regular Regions card. It's like a prepaid card. However, you can do it without a checking account, but personally for me, I'm like, this makes so much sense if you have a checking account. I know there's several other people that talk about like setting up multiple bank accounts and then using a debit card for this bank account for groceries and this bank account for like personal spending and this bank account for getting your hair done. Well, with these cards,
they're essentially like envelopes.
They're essentially like envelopes. Yeah. So we're trying this out using these as our envelopes. They all show up in the app. So in our Regions Bank app, I can see my checking account, our savings account, not my checking account, it's ours. Our checking account, our savings account, and these cards are all listed there too. So I can see what's on there. I can see where they've been used versus like an envelope if we forget. And I'm like, crap, I thought there was still $100 left in the grocery envelope. Where's the other 50?
Right.
And we haven't kept the receipt and whatever else. But the coolest part is, in the app, you can just transfer money from your checking account to these cards. It doesn't require like going in. You can go into the bank if you want to, or to the ATM to deposit the money. You can set it up to automatically transfer. So say we're like, okay, we're setting our grocery budget. It's gonna be $600 a month. So when we get paid on the 1st, automatic withdrawal from your checking account to one of these specific envelopes, and then it's there. And then you just keep this with you, and I'm gonna write on them which thing it is, so that we're like, here's the grocery card. And then when you look at it, you can see, oh, this is how much we have left in there. We've done that sort of with the apps before, like I did the, and I still do use the Dave Ramsey Every Dollar app some, but I would forget to check it, or like it would say we had this much money left to spend.
Gone through yet.
With this, like if you don't have the money on it, you obviously can't spend it.
There's no overdraft fees or paper statement fees, no fees for loading cash. You can load it as many times as you want, manage using Regions Online mobile banking like you just said.
I think it's cool too because as opposed to an envelope, we were running into an issue where like we had a miscellaneous envelope, and that was where we would put money for things that weren't groceries, but weren't like, you know, vitamins and medication or whatever. Maybe it's like hair products, or it's just random miscellaneous stuff. But if it's cash in an envelope, if we wanted to buy something on Amazon or we found something online, then we would have to purchase that online and deposit the money back into our...
Remember to deposit it.
Like remember all that. And with this, you can have this card that can be used on Amazon or online shopping or whatever, just like a Visa debit card.
You can add your Now card to your Apple Pay, Google Pay, or Samsung Pay too. That's cool.
That's cool. Yeah. Okay, so like we can put it for any of those things. Yeah. Also, like with you being able to transfer money from your checking account to these cards, if there's something that we're like, oh, I'm gonna buy this on Amazon and this is actually like a grocery purchase, I can go, okay, well let me transfer some money from the checking account to the card so that it all stays in the same place for groceries or for whatever category, just on my app with 2 seconds, in 2 seconds, versus having to like count the cash and go to the bank and all that stuff. So it's really cool, and that's kind of our plan for moving forward. At this point, we're not gonna go through the whole list of like what our categories are. This is exactly how much our grocery budget is for this month, and this is our miscellaneous.
That's another video.
It's another video because it's also still like a work in progress. I know for most people you're like, what do you mean you just moved? You've been there. But we moved in right around Thanksgiving, right before Thanksgiving. We had Thanksgiving, Christmas. Right now we're finally just feeling like we're actually able to like get things straight.
Yeah.
And so we're still trying to figure out exactly what's gonna work best for us here. We did finally get the utilities in line and all of that stuff. But I think these cards are gonna be super helpful.
I've got one in my wallet, you've got one. We've got how many?
I got 4 because I just didn't want to keep up with too many different ones.
Right, at first,
and then have different amounts on them and all that. So I was like, let's just see how this goes. So I got 4 so that we can each have one for groceries, like split the grocery money, one for miscellaneous, and then one for like haircuts and kids stuff or whatever else.
This could be a good starter debit card for your kids too.
Oh, yeah.
Because you can keep track of how much they're spending and how much is on it, or you can just put a certain amount on it and say, spend however much you want.
Or like an easy way to give your kids their allowance. That's what the lady, when I was setting these up, like I went into the bank to get them set up, she was saying how people will come in and get them as a debit card for their own kids. If they're not ready to set up a checking account for their kids specifically, they'll use their own checking account to be able to just transfer money over, and then you can see all the transactions. You can see where they've gone, how much they've spent, and all of that.
I like that.
That's a lot about these cards and everything they can do, but it was really mind-blowing to me of what a cool option it was versus just like buying a random Visa prepaid card at the store and you load it different ways and whatever else. So if y'all are interested in Regions, we highly recommend them. We've had nothing but great experiences with them. You can check out these cards, you can check out all the amazing stuff that they have. You can go to regions.com to find out more information or set up an appointment to talk to somebody.
Do it.
As we get things situated and settled and like figure out, we're just now getting the kids signed up for sports and that kind of stuff. But the rest of our budget, like our personal spending, is going to look like. We will keep y'all updated, and before too long, hopefully we'll do like a full out, here's everything that we're spending everywhere budget. We would love to also get back on doing the like monthly comparison videos. That's been a little weird right now because it's hard to even like know what's what with the different things that we've like known we needed to pay for and buy as we moved in here. So that's an Amazon delivery. Just came right in, and Alexa let us know about it.
If y'all have any questions, head over to Instagram and shoot us a DM or tag us in a comment or something like that, and we will get back to you. That does it for today's video. Thanks again, Regions, for sponsoring this one, and we will see what OTF is.
Good job, bye. Bye.